Happy Friday, Internet. You're smart, you're good looking, and you care about everything around you. So much happened this week, but what are the big takeaways? Give me 5 minutes and you can talk circles around everyone at Easter, Passover, or normal dinner this weekend. This is The Loop. Tragedy struck at a university in Nairobi, Kenya this week, where Somali terrorist group Al-Shabaab launched a horrific attack that left 147 people dead and dozens wounded. The militants held the university for over 15 hours before they were killed by security forces, but during that time they targeted Christians and recent converts to Islam, separating them from Muslims and surrounding them with explosives. The White House has condemned the attack and has pledged aid to the Kenyan government. Speaking of the White House, the nuclear deal that President Obama has endeavored to strike with Iran has finally tentatively been reached. The terms involve dismantling Iran's nuclear program in exchange for lifting heavy economic sanctions from the US and the European Union. President Obama was quick to point out that trust only goes so far. He said, "If Iran cheats, the world will know it. If we see something suspicious, we will inspect it." With this deal, Iran will face more inspections than any other country in the world. Following intense pressure from businesses around the country, Indiana has amended their Religious Freedom Restoration Act. The law, criticized for essentially legalizing discrimination against the LGBTQ community, ironically has now led to the first protections for the LGBTQ community in the state's history. The changes, signed into law late last night, prohibit businesses from using the RFRA in court to defend themselves for denying services or accommodations to any customers based on race, religion, ancestry, age, national origin, disability, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or US military service. Sounds good. However, the addendum does not do what critics of the law wanted more than anything. It does not add sexual orientation or gender identity to the list of categories protected by Indiana's anti-discrimination law. However, it does open up the door for a larger fight on that front in 2016. In Tennessee, the House of Representatives passed a bill Monday that makes carrying water guns illegal within 150 feet of a school. However, it's still perfectly legal to carry a real gun within that same distance. The ban was a part of a larger gun bill that legalized carrying guns in public parks if you have a permit. Now, open carry and concealed carry laws are a continuing nexus of controversy nationwide, but they're becoming more and more common. In Kansas last night, Governor Sam Brownback went even more extreme when he signed a new law legalizing concealed weapons for all citizens, even if they have no permit or training. The law goes into effect this July. Now, if this seems extreme to you, know that Alaska, Arizona, Vermont, Arkansas, and Wyoming all have similar laws, and that 9 other states are currently considering. The US Defense Department has spent $66 billion rebuilding Afghanistan since 2002. However, the government can't account for $45 billion of that total. Where did the money go? Auditors have asked the government twice for details on the missing funds, but the DoD has responded that it's impossible. The worst part is, this lack of accountability is not illegal. At the time, so much money was being spent so quickly that tracking it was deemed too time-consuming to worry about during wartime. The rules don't require the Pentagon to report how it funded the contracts in Afghanistan, so it didn't. And people wonder why Americans don't trust their government. Meanwhile, in California, Governor Jerry Brown issued an executive order this week to combat the statewide drought by cutting water use across California by 25%, or 1.5 million acre-feet of water over 9 months. Now in its 4th year, the drought has been the albatross around Governor Brown's neck throughout his tenure as governor of California. He declared a state of emergency over a year ago, and last month he signed an emergency bill to provide $1 billion for drought relief and water conservation projects. However, this new bill has received heavy criticism for not including oil producers in the 25% water reduction. In fact, the oil and gas industry isn't required to reduce their water use at all, even though they use more than 2 million gallons of fresh water every day. And finally, what did people love this week? Music lovers can't get enough of Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly, but on iTunes, Rihanna's Bitch Better Have My Money exploded to the top of the single charts, and Wale's The Album About Nothing hit #1 on the album charts. The Roast of Justin Bieber and HBO's The Jinx were the most popular TV downloads this week, and at the box office, Home won last weekend with $52.1 million, followed by Get Hard with $33.8 million. This weekend, Furious 7 opens and is expected to blow them both away. And that's everything of note that happened this week. So at dinner this weekend, religious or not, hand Grandma the mashed potatoes with a side of knowledge, because until next Friday, you're in the loop. I'm Matt Lieberman. Thanks for watching.